This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Well, hello, everybody. It is Readers Entertainment Radio, and this is Patricia W. Fisher, here to talk to you about with fabulous authors about their incredible books. It is February 13th. I can't believe it's already halfway through the month of February, and tomorrow's Valentine's Day. And, you know, we don't always know exactly what to do on Valentine's Day, even people who have fabulous, wonderful social lives or what have you. But, find something that makes you happy. Find something that, makes you smile and everything else before. Sorry, I had to change phones because the other was beeping. Makes you smile and laugh. And, one of the things that always makes me laugh is a really good book. And I have found a lovely author to talk with us today about her fabulous new releases as well as her saucy books that you should probably just be one-clicking right now onto your e-readers. So USA Today best-selling author Naima Simone, lover of romance, was first stirred by Joanna Lindsay, Sandra Brown, and Nora Roberts. Well, she was only 18 when she made her first attempt at a romance novel starring the lead singer of New Edition, Ralph Tresvant. But it never saw the light of day. But her love of romance, reading, and writing has endured. And since 2009, she spends her days and nights writing sizzling romances with a touch of humor and snark. She is the wife to Superman, or his non-Kryptonian, less bulletproof equivalent, and the mother of the most amazing kids ever. And they all live in sometimes domestically challenged bliss in the southern U.S. So welcome to the show today, my dear. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Now, tell me the correct way to pronounce your first name.
It's Naima.
Naima, thank you. Because So I was doing my homework, and I found a very sweet little video of you and your first book sale. Like you announced it at work, and somebody had said your name, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's how you say her name. But I wanted to make sure that was the proper way to say it. So Naima,
yes. There
we go.
Yes,
I am writing
Naima.
it phonetically
My
in my notes.
I do that all the time. I did when I used to. I worked at the bank, and any time that we went to like training conferences, I would spell my name out, and then I would spell it phonetically under it, so people could see how it's pronounced.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
When growing up with my name, you kind of answer to everything.
So did your mom or your dad pick out your first name?
Oh, my father. He is a John Coltrane fanatic. He's a jazz fanatic. John Coltrane is his favorite saxophonist, and John Coltrane has a song called Naima. And because my mother has always said, if it was up to us, because I have a twin sister, and her name is Nefertari. So, you see how that went in childhood. So she said if it was up to her, our names would have been Sally and Sue. So it's my father. He's the culprit.
I think it has a nice, rhythm to it. The names have a beautiful rhythm. So I get it.
Right.
You're capturing. Yeah, I love it. So you talk about. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I
go ahead, dear.
We were only ever two Naima and Nefertaris in class ever. So.
Yes. It's interesting you say that because there were, first name is Patricia, and I'm thinking, okay, born in 1967, that's, probably a pretty typical name. I would rarely find anybody with Patricia.
Really?
Although, rarely, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, that is weird. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I had a Patricia in my class.
Isn't that, right?
Really?
I'm like, okay, well, but see, it's like the whole, it just goes in phases.
Right, because now as soon as we get off the phone, I'm going to be thinking about, okay, my aunt, we called her Trisha, but my aunt's name was Patricia, but now when I get off the phone, I'm going to be thinking of like everybody, do I know a Patricia other than her?
Well, and it's interesting too because we named our oldest Emma, and I had to have that name forever. But she was born about 2 years after Emma on Friends was named. Like they named their baby Emma.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Everybody assumed you named her after Emma, Rachel.
Emma. Yeah. So now there's like all these Emmas.
I've had it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a ton of Thank you, Rachel.
Lots and lots of them. Yeah. It's very interesting to see how it all plays out in the phases that names go through. You know what's
right.
But yeah, I think it all works out. So everyone gets their own uniqueness out of it. But so you're growing up, and you were a big reader growing up?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. My mother used to read to both my sister and I from like before we could ever read. She would read like the fairy tales, and as soon as we got old enough, we were nerds, so that's what we did. We read. Yeah. So I mean, if we were kids that instead of going to the mall, we wanted to go to the used bookstore where we could just stay for hours, and my father loved it. Because at the mall, he would have to spend upward of $50. At the used bookstore, he only had to spend $10. So he was like, yes, let's do this. But always both of us have always been big readers.
I know that my grandmother was a big reader, so she always had books laying around. She loved biographies and all sorts of stuff. But the coveted library card, where you got to go every week and fill your whole your bag of books.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Those were the days.
Yeah, they were.
I found my favorite stories that I tried to pass on to my daughter, and she caught on to some of them, like the Babysitter's Club. She caught on to that. I tried to get her interested in like Miss Piggly Wiggly, Piggle Wiggle, and all of that. She was like, "No, that's okay." Like, I'll try. What about Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? It's like my favorite. It's all right. I was like, wait, whose child are you that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is just all right? Like, this is the best book ever written.
Yeah,
like Harry Potter.
Come on now.
My son liked Harry Potter. I was like, but now she's reading romance, and so we're just bonding. It's because she's loving romance books, but she reads romance. She loves romance books where people die at the end, and so that we're not agreeing on.
Right. She's liking the love stories. She likes the love stories there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know those are hard.
Not a happily ever after.
That's right. It does not count.
Everybody must.
It does not. That's right. We all know that someday they'll go on, but today not so much.
We don't have to read about that. Right. By the time we don't really think about that, right? We want everybody to be alive and healthy and kissing at the end. We don't want anybody dead. But she loves them. But but we bond over that now.
Well, it's funny because my second daughter, she has dyslexia, and so she's always been really frustrated with reading, and so I would get her all these different types of stories and try and help her. And I found a 4th or 5th grade reader of the complete works of Shakespeare, and I thought, and I found it through Groupon of all places.
I love Groupon.
Yeah, and it was $25 or something. It's usually like $100. So I was like,
whoa.
So
that's fun.
Yeah. So I snagged 2 because I was sure I would give it to someone, and I did. But it was funny because she had heard, everyone always talks about Romeo and Juliet, and when they talk about romance and blah blah blah, and she wanted to read it. And she was in 5th grade. And she got halfway through the book, and she came back and handed it back to me and said, "These kids need therapy. I don't want to read anymore." I said, "Okay." Yeah. I said, "Well, maybe read something else." So I gave her Taming of the Shrew, which I said, now understand that they're not real nice to each other in this one. So, but nobody dies. So.
Right. No. Right.
Then she asked me to read Hamlet, and I'm like, oh, okay. We get to the
okay.
yeah. And then she gets to the end, and she looks at me. She's like, and everybody dies. Honey, I'm sorry.
It's better than Romeo and Juliet. I get it. I do.
She still does.
My daughter read it, and
yeah,
they had to read it in school, and they watched them. They read it in school, and she was reading it, and she came in the kitchen when you told me that, okay, this is what we're starting. I said, well, you should love it because everybody died. Both of them dies at the end. That's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Mommy, they don't die. I was like, okay. Oops, spoiler alert.
Well, yeah, it's
it's for you though. That's your thing.
Right. Right. Oh my, yeah. It's interesting to see what they gravitate towards, and so she knows my second one knows she's going to have to read this next year for school. She's not excited about it. They also have to read Lord of the Flies, which is like
I love
yeah.
book, though.
Do you really? Oh, I did not like it. Wow.
You know what I did like of Mice and Men, but I loved Lord of the Flies. I did. It was, I don't know, I might have been going through a phase, but I did. And then the movie came out, and I loved it. It was so fun.
Well, you heard these two screenwriters or producers in Hollywood, or I don't know who they are. They're talking about doing Lord of the Flies all women, and I thought, well, that's the dumbest idea ever because everyone's going to go, well, I don't like you very much, but we all want off this island, so let's all work together.
That's what we did.
And get out. And it's like it'll be a 15-minute movie.
And it's over. It's over. Because
done.
Women would have seen the point of, listen, let's work together, let's get off this island, but when we get back to the mainland, it's on.
Yeah, all bets are off. So we'll just put that on pause.
That's right.
It's like
hold that thought.
Right. It's like the housewives of whatever show, whatever town you want to pick on.
And reality TV.
Right, and pause, and then we'll get back to it when we get back over there. So we're all good.
Oh, right. So they're going to get together for a charity, for a cause. They're going to get together. They're going to bring it, carry it off. They might, do slip some, side eye and some shots in there while they're carrying it off, but they're going to get the job done. But after the charity is over, it's going to go down. So we know how to get it done.
We should write this.
Oh, my God. Those screenwriters just need to call us.
Yeah, I know. They do. But, what's fun is looking through your book catalog. I mean, because you have your newest release, Just Blame It on the Billionaire. Yeah. And that's your third book with Harlequin. So you have The Billionaire's Bargain, Black Tie Billionaire, and now Blame It on the Billionaire. And 2 books for Desire. And then the third book's for Desire, they just redid the cover, right? They redid the design?
Yes, they did. Harlequin just redid the look of all their series lines, and they revamped them, and they're gorgeous. I mean, if you go out on their site and they just give you a preview of what all the lines look like now, and I've read Harlequin covers before, but now because they have like instead of the bars across the top, you have more of the picture and more of the couple. It just seems like a little more glamorous and just polished. I really loved it. It does.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have one of the first covers of the new look. They're beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. And I mentioned this before with other authors who've been on, but anyone listening, there's always this preconceived notion about how much control writers have for their stories, which is why there's always the discussion between indie versus traditional publishing. And, a big house like Harlequin, they have a formula. But you do get to fill out a form to say what your book's about so the cover artist can get an idea. Was this the first, the one that you have now, the cover for Blame It on the Billionaire, was this the first mock-up they gave you, or was there any tweaking going on, or how did you come to this? Like, because it's a beautiful cover.
Well, like you said, one of the misconceptions is like as far as like covers with traditional publishing that we have like a lot of control, and we really don't. We have some input, you know, like you said, like I fill out the art form sheet, you know, like I did it for Harlequin, and I did it for Entangled, and you know, so you have input. You get to tell what your characters look like. You know, you give certain scenes that you might want to see that the cover reflects the mood of those scenes. You know, you even put like a short synopsis so the artist can read what the book basically is about, just to capture like the mood of it. But then, like when you get the cover, most of the time it's like, oh, this is it. But sometimes it's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But is it like the marketing department is really in charge of that? So you can say, well, could we tweak maybe the hair color, or could we tweak? And they might, but it's not guaranteed they will. You know.
Right.
So far, I've been really blessed with great covers.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you've had some amazing covers.
Yeah. I mean, I've been really, really blessed with great covers. And even like with Entangled Publishing, like if I get a mock-up and I'm like, I'm not really feeling that at all. You know, they would like, okay, well, what don't you like? And then they'll work with me. I think Harlequin's a little more like rigid in that, you know, as far as, okay, we hear you, but see, this is what we're going to go with because, you know, and I'm like, all right then.
Yeah.
But like
I think too.
So far, I've pretty much like loved them.
Right. Well, I think too. They get pretty close to the mark. I mean, I've rarely seen or heard from too many friends that say this cover's terrible. You know. Because they. You know, they are reading the cover, the artist sheet, and saying what you filled out and said that. So, I mean, but they are putting out a lot of covers every month.
Right. And because of that, because they have like, you know, so many lines and they're releasing like 6 books, I know in Desire alone a month, it wouldn't be feasible for if you like, okay, I don't really like that. Can you change that? That they really can do it. Like they know what sells for that line. And so while the hero might not have the hair color or look exactly like how you pictured your hero, they're like, this is what's going to sell. And then you just have to trust the process. I've never had a cover yet. I mean, because I only have 3 books with them, 4 in May, and I've seen the cover that I'm like, yeah, I don't like it at all. I haven't had that yet, so I've been really, really blessed with mine because especially for Black Tie Billionaire, when I was filling out the art form sheet, because I have a Chinese American hero and an African American heroine, and I was a little nervous because I'm like, I haven't seen a great stock photo out there for either, and the 2 of them together, I just haven't seen much, and the ones that I have seen just are not good. So I was a little nervous, but when I saw the cover, I was in Books A Million. I opened up the email. I saw the cover. I literally screamed. I was like, oh, my God. It was gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
I loved it. I called everybody. I was like, oh, my God, wait till you see the cover. I know the barista, he was like, well, Vinny, because I write there so much, I know him. He was like, what is going on? Like,
I know.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, you know,
they really hit the mark.
Well, and it's funny because, you know, things like that you and I get so excited about. Check out my cover, and oh my gosh, it's so exciting. And even your friends and family that are happy for you, they're like, oh yeah, that's great. And you're like, nice. No, you don't understand.
Right. Because I called my father as my daddy. Wait till you see this cover. And he was like, oh, that's nice, Naima. I was like, nice. But wait. Let me text it to you. Hold on, because you're not getting nice. There's nothing nice about this. So I texted to him. Then, since he's old, I had to wait for him to. Actually, I couldn't. He doesn't know how to hit speaker, look at the text, and we can talk about it. He's like, let me call you back. I'm like, but you don't need to call me back to look at the text. Let me call you back. So 10 minutes later, he finally calls. Oh yeah, that's nice. What do you mean nice? So I've learned not to get my feelings hurt over their lack of enthusiasm.
Right. Well, and my dad, for my very first cover, it was a romantic comedy, and the heroine is a plus size girl, and so the original cover was very sweet. It was very sweet, but there was no way this girl was plus size. So I said, can we find somebody that's not a rail? And the cover artist came up with a really sweet cover, but she's like, this is the best one this is the only one I could find. And I thought, well, that's okay. That's just sad that you have so little to pull from. This was 2012. Right. And so, but it was a cover, and they're sitting next to each other, and he's kind of tilted towards her. And I asked my dad, what do you think about the cover? And he's like, it looks like he's trying to put his hand up her dress. I said, yes, Dad, it's a romantic comedy. Of course he's trying to put his hand up her dress. That's why she's sitting there, because she wants that to happen. So it's just, he was just like, I don't like it. Okay. All right. Fair.
Okay, moving along.
Right, moving along. Thanks, Dad. So anyway, so you've done all this reading, and what is the catalyst one day that you say, you know what? I think I want to write one of these books. What was your catalyst? After you wrote your first novel, and it never saw the light of day, but what about that stuck with you? Yes, but I bet it's a super sweet story.
I made out with Ralph Tresvant I lost my virginity to Ralph Tresvant at the drive-in in that first book. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying.
All my first books, I was the heroine because they all starred Ralph Tresvant from New Edition, Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block. So I was always the heroine. So, yeah.
Of course.
But I think the transition was that I just wanted to read books that I just wanted to write a book that I wanted to read. And I don't even know what gave me the guts, the very first, I was in college actually, when I started writing what ended up many years later being the first book that I sold, and it didn't star me, and it didn't star a rock star or a pop or a member of a boy band.
Okay.
Which that was the cue that it was a serious work.
There you go.
And I just dreamed of maybe one day it being published. I don't even think at that point I was like, this could actually happen, because it's been. And for me, I just didn't believe that it could actually happen. But I dreamed that one day it would. But so I just started writing in college. I just started writing that book. And I remember a few years later, I had my son, and on maternity leave, I revamped it, and I went home to New Jersey, and I was having dinner with my father. We went out to one of our favorite restaurants, and I just admitted to him, the only person I had admitted to that I was writing a book was my husband. And I admitted to him over a seafood combination plate that I was writing a book. And he just shocked me because his motto always when we were younger was, we have scholars in this family, not entertainers, which was fair because our dream was being the female version of New Kids on the Block. So I got it, but in the choreographer. So I was kind of like afraid to tell him, but yeah, he was like, okay, so have you joined any writing organizations? So what are you doing? Have you got a copyright for it? How many hours are you putting in? And he just shocked me. He really, really supported me. And he was the one who started making me think about it professionally. And I was about 24 then. And that's how I transitioned from it being just like a dream and being fanfic to actually maybe pursuing it. And this could actually happen. He was actually the catalyst for that.
Wow. That's wonderful.
Yeah, and he's still one of my biggest supporters, even though his reactions to my covers might be a little lackluster. He still is one of my biggest supporters.
And so you sold your first book when?
2009. Well, that's 2009. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you sold that first book, and then it's like, wow, and now you're over 20 books now.
Yeah, who would have thought? Because I remember panicking and writing that second book. I never would have thought it would be over 20 books.
Right.
Ever. And then I looked at they're over 50.
Yeah. Or like, Nora Roberts, who has over 200.
Good God. And I'm happy with my.
And I think that's just the Nora Roberts side. I don't even think that includes the J.D. Robb stuff.
Right. So that's the goal. That's the life goal. Yeah.
I mean, she's got her routine. It works. I mean, I think that's part of what everybody aspires to do, is to have the routine. Like every day I know I write from this time to this time. And I don't, and the beauty of, and I never get interrupted, which never happens, but ever. No. It just never happens.
No, never happens.
Right. I forgot, Mom, can you bring, Mom is.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those.
I get those calls all the time.
I had the great fortune to talk to Brenda Novak. I had her talk to her for like an hour multiple years ago. And she was so nice because she talked about working from home. And the reason that she started working from home was because she was like a vice president of a bank, and they had 5 kids, and she came home early one day or something, and she realized the babysitter was giving her kids cough medicine to make them sleep.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Yes. I know. It's a little stressful.
I'd probably ended up in jail.
Yeah, I would have absolutely ended up in jail. And and she's like, oh, well, this isn't going to happen ever again. So she decided to stay home, and she started writing, and of course she sold a gazillion books as well. And but she said her mom still will call her in the middle of the day and say, what are you doing? She goes, well, I'm working. She's like, but you're home. She's like, I know. But I'm working. So
I get that. I still get that. My sister's a teacher, and she'll just call me. She'll just call me on her way home, and I'm still working at that point. I'm still writing at about 3 something after she gets off. But she never fails. She calls me, hey, what you doing? I'm writing. No, for real, what you doing? I'm like, no, really, I'm working. Seriously, I work.
I promise. I think that's the big transition for me mentally was, my husband and my kids, they were like, what are you doing? Well, I'm writing. And until I started using the word I'm working,
yes,
I don't think I took it as seriously either. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially when I first came off the 9 to 5 and started working from home, because I've been writing all along. Even though I worked a full-time job and I was still writing, but the full-time job was the job. and writing it wasn't a hobby because I was being published, but it still wasn't the job. But when I came home, and now this is all that I do, this is it. There is no outer office. There's, it took a minute for it to transition in my own mind. And so I guess that's why it took a minute for it to transition in other people's too. So
for sure.
I totally get that.
Yeah. And so now you're writing, like, now you're going to be one of those people like, oh, and then Naima, she wrote a gazillion books. So you've got your 20, yes, that you've got Blame It on the Billionaire right now. So tell me a little bit about this story.
Well, it's the third book in the Blackout Billionaire series from Harlequin Desire, and every book begins in a blackout. They're at this Chicago high society social event in the season, and a blackout just plummets Chicago into darkness. And every couple meets in this mansion in this blackout. So my hero is Grayson Chandler. He's like American royalty, and he meets this voluptuous, curvy, size 16, beautiful heroine, because that's what she is, who owns her curves. And of course, sexy shenanigans happen, but in the next, couple of days later, he walks into work and he realizes she works for him. She's had this crush on him forever. She's a transplant from the South, and she's actually worked for him for a year. He's never noticed her, and because they work in totally different departments, because he's the president of the company, and she didn't really expect him to run into him or for him to notice her, but he does.
Sure.
And at the same time, his mother is pressuring him to leave his own company and return to the family fold, and his vindictive ex wants to become a not-so ex. And so he convinces the heroine, Nadia Jordan, to enter into this fake relationship with him, to pretend to be his fiance. And so she agrees, but for selfless reasons, because she wouldn't be a great heroine if it wasn't selfless reasons. And so they begin this fake relationship, which, of course, doesn't end up fake. Of course, they fall for each other. And I hate to say this, but I really love this story because it sounds so bad. No, my story's great. No, but I really did love the story. I loved writing it.
Right. I mean, you should, though, because, years ago I talked to Sandy Blair, and she talked about how if you don't enjoy what you're writing, if you don't love what you're writing or laugh about something that's funny that you wrote, your readers won't either. So I always really appreciate it when authors say, and I really did love these characters, because that's going to come through. And, we're going to love your characters too. So your book that's coming out, I bet. Did you base them on anybody that you know or any story you saw, or how did you kind of come up with this idea?
Well, actually, when Meghan and Harry announced that they were pregnant, I started because I was a whole Harry and Meghan, I was all in that fever. I watched the royal movies after that, but so when they announced that they were going to have a baby, it just kind of reignited the whole, fervor for me. And the idea just came to me, he's American royalty, she's, not in his world. And they wanted, what would happen if she had to step into his world? What would she face? How did they get there happily ever after? And so that's where it came from. And that's why I probably enjoyed writing it so much.
Oh, for sure. We watched the wedding here, and
well, I did.
We watched Kate and William, but my girls were a lot younger, and it wasn't really as exciting for them just because they were younger. Yeah, right. I mean, I watched it, and I remember watching their mom get married.
I do too.
I
do too.
Yeah, I stayed up all night because I was afraid if I went to sleep, I'd miss it.
Right.
Yeah, and watched it. It was of course everybody was. It was just. It's really cool. It's just one of those. Maybe it's superficial. I don't care. But it's one of those things that you watch and it's so lovely, and loved
it's like
watching
a fairy tale.
The whole thing. It is. It just plays out right there.
Really is.
Yeah. So I'm super happy for them, but and I hope things are going better for them now.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. That can't be an easy place to be.
A transition. Oh, it just can't be. And I was talking to my friend when all of this happened, and I was telling her, you just look at them, and of course you don't know what's going on in anybody's relationship because you're not there. So you don't know how they are when they're alone. But when you see them, they appear to be so in love, and they face so much as far as, the paparazzi and people commenting, especially in this age of like social media, like with
right.
when Diana got married, when Diana got married, there wasn't, Twitter and Instagram, so they couldn't just read what people were saying on the feed, and that's not the same for them. And with the comments and the reactions from some people and what's been printed about them, I just hope that, they hold on to each other in it, because we all want them to have the fairy tale, and they seem to be so in love that I just want them, I hope them stepping back and making this transition that, I can't remember it ever being done before from somebody in his position. I hope it's worth it. I really do, and I hope they stay together through it, because we all want the fairy tale for them. Well, most of us do.
Well, I think, too, what's interesting, and this isn't taking anything away from Kate, but I think what was one of the really empowering things about seeing Meghan and Harry's coming together is she was fine without him. Like, she had made her own way. She had her own money. She had her own place. And
her own voice, yes.
Everything.
So
and so he fell in love with all of that. And when I see that, there's no surprises. And I remember reading an article about Kate, and they said she couldn't get a job because she had dated William, and then they broke up and everything. And so everybody, whenever she tried to get a job, they all assumed, he would show up, and then she could never get hired anywhere.
Wow.
I think she worked for her parents' company, but even then it was difficult because everyone would just assume that's what her job was going to be. So they'd already pigeonholed her.
Right.
So it's very different where she didn't really get that opportunity. Right. That opportunity wasn't there, where Meghan came to it from a very different way. And I almost wonder a lot of the discussion is just people who just didn't do that for themselves. And the jealousy is just multi-layered. Right.
And she's breaking the mold. And anytime you're a person who is about change, or you're not going to stand for the status quo, or you're not going to conform, then you're going to receive backlash, and you're seen as trying to drag down the patriarchy, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I really hadn't thought of it that way before, that, like what you just said, but it's so true. Mm-hmm. And when I think of the best heroines, they're the ones who already have everything that they need already inside them. Even if they're not yet doing it, they're doing it in some way. They're strong.
Right.
And they're the ones who don't need a man to be whole, but they choose to have that man as part of their lives. For their own happiness. And to me, that's such strength. And I totally agree. I love that. I'm going to borrow that and I'm going to steal that. But I'll give you credit, but I'm going to say that again to somebody.
Use it everywhere. Let's empower all these ladies. Let's do it.
Right. This is why I love Meghan, see?
This is it. And they actually even... When they were doing the, commentating during the wedding, one of the British reporters said, well, she's the first self-made millionaire woman coming into this family. And
which is fabulous.
That's and there
fabulous. You are. Go ahead, Meghan.
It is.
I just want her more after this conversation.
So tell me what's coming up in May. What's your release in May?
I have a Harlequin Desire releasing in May called Ruthless Pride, and it's the first book in a multi-author continuity called Seven Sins, which, I mean, it's perfect for me because sinning is what I like to do on the page, not in real life, just in case my father hears this. I was saying, and I really love the idea of it because there's this mystery that starts in book one and goes all the way to the last book, this paternity secret. And I just really enjoyed writing. It was my first one, and I really, really enjoyed writing it because you get to add different characters that are going to have their own books later on. And so that's coming out in May, and I'm excited about it. So I hope, fingers crossed, people love it.
Yes. And then it's part of the Desire line. And then do you have any other projects coming out this year?
I do. I have the traditional books that I have. I have another Desire that's coming out. Well, two more. One is in the Texas Cattleman Club, which is like one of the longest-running multi-author continuities, and a first book in a new series called The Billionaires of Boston, and it's about four brothers. Well, they didn't know they were brothers. When the father died, the heir found out he has three half-brothers, and they have to learn how to work together because the will states that they don't stay together for a year and run the company, then the company will be broken off and sold in pieces. So the first book in that series is coming out in November. I have a secret project that I'm working on that's coming out, I think, this summer. And also, I'm a part of V. Keelan and Penelope Ward's Cocky Hero Club. It's their own world based off their Cocky Hero series, and I'm writing a book in that world. So I am, and it's called Broody Brit. So I am so excited about that because I'm writing my first British hero, and I'm already in love with him. I am. and I hit up Talia Hibbert, and I was like, can you help me write him to make him sound authentic? And she was like, sure, I'd love to. So it's been fun.
Yeah, you can only watch so much. You can only watch so much Graham Norton to get all the little slang
Let's talk
terms.
About Graham Norton.
Well, we've got about 2 minutes, so we have to talk quickly.
Okay.
Like Graham Norton can do.
I've gone down the Graham Norton rabbit hole all week. You can't get enough of his videos. He's hilarious.
He is so good, and it's so thorough with the stuff that he brings up. It's phenomenal what he finds.
Oh, he's wonderful. I'm never tired watching him.
So if you're listening and you don't know who he is a TV host in the UK, and he has all of the actors on the Jimmy Fallon, he brings them out one at a time, but he has everyone come out at the same time, and he serves them alcohol. And so by the end of the show, people are telling the most outrageous stories. And it's fabulous.
Like they can never tell.
Yeah. Oh, and it always kills me when they have Miriam on. She was the lady who played Professor Sprout on the Harry Potter series.
She's crazy hilarious. She her own show. She does.
She's had a very full, colorful life, let me just say.
Colorful. That's right. I was going to say that. Colorful.
She is not afraid to talk about it, so I just adore her.
Oh, I do.
Although
too.
I would feel slightly uncomfortable sitting next to her after all of us drinking, because Lord knows what she would say. But
I wouldn't tell her anything
it would be
about
worth
me because it might come out.
Right. Well, please come back and talk to us again this year about your future projects. I'd really love for you to come back.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And if you've been listening, this is Readers Entertainment Radio with Patricia W. Fisher. We've been talking to Naima Simone, the best-selling author, and the newest book, Blame It on the Billionaire, is out now. Please go pick it up. And she's got more books coming this year. So keep on reading, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions. www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
The Hollywood Reporter is your ultimate source for awards race news this fall. Go to THR.com to keep up with this award season's expert predictions from executive editor Scott Feinberg, and tune into the Hollywood Reporter's Awards Chatter podcast for exclusive interviews with the biggest names in showbiz. Stay in the loop with daily newsletters providing real-time updates on all the awards action. Subscribe to THR.com for full access to the Hollywood Reporter and never miss a moment of this fall awards season. Visit THR.com today.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? If you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. Choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.